Nefesh, number of the page is 15, 1, 5. Beloved of my soul, merciful God, lead me, your servant, closer to you in favor.
לכו נרננה, לכו נרננה, לאדוני. לכו נרננה, לכו נרננה, לכו נרננה, לאדוני. נריע, לצור אישנו לקדמה, פניו בתודה. נריע, לצור אישנו, במירות נריע, לכו נרננה.
Let the heavens rejoice and the earth be glad. Ismechu Hashamayim, bottom of page 26.
Mayam, oh Yira Mayam, Umlo, Yira Mayam, oh Yira Mayam,
Zamrul Adonai Bechinor, we are now in the middle of page 30, 30. You can be helped with the transliteration.
Zamrul Adonai
סמרו לאדוני בכינור, בכינור, בקול זמרה. סמרו לאדוני בכינור, בכינור, בקול זמרה.
Exalt the Lord our God, worship God, because God is holy. Ramemu Adonai Eloheinu 32.
רוממו אדוני אלוהינו והשתחוו ליד קודשו. רוממו אדוני אלוהינו והשתחוו ליד קודשו. כי קדוש אדוני אלוהינו רוממו.
Please rise if you're able to. Number of the page is 36.
Hoy mismo
To preach Shabbat, now let us go. Source of blessing, it has ever been so. Conceived before life on earth began, last in God's work, first in God's plan. Let's welcome our queen. Page number 40.
Ishmi
שמו אחד, לשמו תפארת ונקראים אחד אחד דודי לקראת קלה בני שבת אוי לקראת שבת, לכו ונלכה, כי היא מקור הברכה, כי היא מקור הברכה. אוי מראש מקדם נסוכה, סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה. אוי לך דודי לקראת קלה, לך דודי לקראת קלה בני שבת לקבלה. מקדש עיר מלוכה צאי מתוך הפיכה וצאי מתוך חמול עלייך אמנה, לך דודי לקראת קלה. לך דודי לקראת קלה בני שבת לקבלה. לקראת קלה בני שבת לקבלה. חדודי לקראת קלה בני שבת לקבלה. חדודי לקראת קלה בני שבת דודי לקראת קלה, שבת מקבלה. לך דודי לקראת קלה, בני שבת מקבלה. התעוררי, התעוררי, כי באורך ומי אורי, אורי אורי, שיר דברי, כבוד אדוני עלייך לך דודי לקראת קלה, בני שבת מקבלה. לך דודי לקראת קלה, בני שבת מקבלה.
לא תבושי ולא תקרבי, ותשתחחי ובתמי, ותכסו אני ימי, ונמלטה לך דודי לקראת קלה, בני שבת מקבלה.
לך דודי לקראת קלה, בני שבת מקבלה. יסיס עליי ואלוהי, כבשוש קטן על קלה. לך דודי לקראת קלה, שבת מקבלה. לך דודי לקראת קלה, בני שבת מקבלה. בימין ושמאל תפרוצי, ואת אדוני תריצי, על יד איש בן פרצי, ונשמחה ונגילה. לך לך דודי לקראת קהלה, בני שבת מקבלה. לך דודי לקראת קהלה, בני שבת
אוי בשלום עטרת מעלה, גם בשמחה ובצער, לא כמונס עם סגולה. אוי קלה, אוי
דודי לקראת קהלה, בני שבת מקבלה. לך דודי לקראת קהלה, בני שבת מקבלה.
Come be seated. It's time to do the psalm of the day. As you know, Kabbalat Shabbat, the service we just began and are almost finishing, has 6 psalms, 6 for each day of creation, and then the 7th one is the song, the poem, the psalm for Shabbat, 44. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות.
ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך, לזמר לשמך, להגיד בבוקר חסדיך, להגיד ואמונתך בלילות, עלי יסר ועלי נבל, עלי היגיון בכינור. מזמור שיר טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון, כי שימחני אדוני בפועליך, ובמעשה ידיך ארננה גדלו מעשיך אדוני, מאוד המקום מחשבותיך. מזמור שיר ליום טוב להודות, לזמר לשמך ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון. דשנים ורעננים יהיו להגיד כי ישר אדוני. אוי צורי 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 צורי
ולא עוולת הבור. אדוני מלך, 46.
למש, אדוני עוזי תזר, הבטיקות נבל בלטימות, הבטיקות נבל בלטימות, נכון תסחר ומעמדה, נשיאו ירוק כולם, נשיאו ירוק אדירים משפני יד, אדיר במרום אדוני, אדיר במרום אדוני. עדותיך לביתך נבע הקודש, אדוני אדיר במרום אדוני.
Before we include the call to worship known as Baruch, we will love to invite, when school is over, that means that camp season begins. We'd love to invite our camp youth director, Jenny Buchholz, to light the candles for us as we embark in 2 amazing months in our Beth Torah campus. See? They're applauding you already. Imagine after camp, the applause will be even bigger. Lay, 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 lay. Ay, 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 ay. Ay, 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 ay. Die, 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 die. Ay, 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 da, da, die, die, die. Ay, 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 ay. Ay, 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 ay. Please rise for Baruch. Number of the page is 52. This is the moment when we become a big, large, huge, powerful minyan. Those here present in our campus and all those all over the world who are joining us in prayer. Baruch 52. Ay, 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 ay. La da da da. We die, 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 da da die, 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 da 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 die, 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 die. We die, 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 da da die, 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 da da die, 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 וברכו את אדוני המבורך. ברוך אדוני המבורך לעולם ועד. אוי לי, 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 פרם פם פרם פרם פם. Lai 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 Adonai and number of the page is 61. With everlasting love, you have loved your people Israel. You have taught us Torah and mitzvot. You have instructed us in laws and judgment. Therefore, God, when we lie down and when we rise up, we shall speak of your commandments and rejoice in your Torah, your mitzvot. They are our life and the length of our days. On them we will meditate day and night. May you never take away your love from us. Praise you, God, who loves your people Israel. Hebrew and transliteration 60. A'avat olam.
אהבת עולם, בית ישראל, עמך אהבת תורה ומצוות, חוקים ומשפטים, אותנו לימדת. על כן אדוני אלוהינו, שוכבנו בקומנו, נשיח בחוקיך,
ונשמח בדברי תורתך ובמצוותיך לעולם.
כי הם חיינו
ואורך ימינו ובהם נגה יומם בלילה, יומם בלילה.
ואהבתך תסיר ממנו לעולמים, ברוך אתה אדוני
וברוך שמו
אוהב עמו ישראל.
שמה ישראל אדוני אלוהינו אדוני אחד. שמע ישראל אדוני אלוהינו אדוני אחד. שמע ישראל אדוני אלוהינו אדוני אחד. אוי שמע ישראל אדוני אלוהינו אדוני אחד. שמע ישראל אדוני אלוהינו אדוני אחד. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך, כל נפשך, כל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, שיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ולכתך בדרך שוכבך ובקומך, קשרתם לאותה על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך. שמע ישראל, continue silently, pages 80-82. Adonai Elohechem Emet. 87. True and certain is that there is one God, and there is none like our Lord. It's God who redeemed us from the might of tyrants and delivered us from slavery to freedom. Great are the things that God has done. God's wonders are without number. God brought forth Israel from Egyptian bondage and has been our hope in every generation. May you continue to protect and care of Israel, God, and guard your children from disaster. Micha Mocha, middle of 86.
מי כמוך אלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש, תורת תהילות אוסף פלא, אוסף פלא, ותבחרו בניך,
גם לפני
משה זה אלי ענו ואמרו, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. לה 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 La 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 ונאמר כי בד אדוני יש יעקב וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל La 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 la
91. Help us, O God, to lie down in peace and awaken us to life on the morrow. Ashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu Leshalom. 90.
השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום ויעמידנו מלכנו לחיים
השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום ויעמידנו מלכנו לחיים
ופרוס עלינו
סוכת שלומך ותקננו בצע טובה מלפניך השכיבני אדוני אלוהינו לשלום ויעמידנו מלכנו
לחיים
השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום ויעמידנו מלכנו
לחיים
ופרוס עלינו סוכת ופרוס שלומך ברוך אתה אדוני הפורס סוכת שלום עלינו ועל כל עמו ישראל ועל ירושלים אמן
ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך ברוך אתה אדוני הפורס סוכת שלום עלינו ועל כל עמו ישראל ועל ירושלים ירושלים ועל
ירושלים.
ירושלים ועל ירושלים. Amen.
More than the Jews kept Shabbat, Shabbat kept the Jews. Let's say it with the words of the Holy Torah. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et Shabbat. Please rise if you're able to. Number of the page is 96. It's a sign between me and the people of Israel for all time.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם, ברית עולם, ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל, אותי לעולם.
ביני ובין בני ישראל,
אותי לעולם.
לעולם.
כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ
ביום
השביעי שבת ויהי נפש.
ביני ובין בני ישראל, אותי לעולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל, אותי
יתגדל ויתקדש שמרבה.
אמן.
ולמה נברא כינותי וימליך מלכותי.
לה 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 לה.
בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי לכל בית ישראל. בגלה ובזמן קריב וימגור.
אמן.
ישמע במבורך לעולם לעל מעל מיה. יתברך וישתבח וידבר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתהלל ויתהלל שמי לקודשה.
ברכו
אלא מכל ברכתה ושירתה.
תושבחתה ונחמתה תמידה בעלמה וימרו.
אמן.
לה דה די 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 דה דה די די אדוני. לה דה די 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 שפתי נפתח. וי דה דה די דה דה די דה דה די ופי יגיד ופי יגיד תהילתך. Adonai, Adonai, la 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 la, Zephaniah, Tiftach, Yadadai, 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 Ufi Yagid, Ufi Yagid, Teilatech.
Body, soul, mind's prayer to Yerushalayim, pages 110 to 118. And if you're home and you don't have a book or you don't want to use a book, this is your time to review your week, to include your silent meditation or your personal prayer. 110 to 118.
שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו.
יעשה שלום,
שלום,
יעשה שלום,
שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. One more time.
עושה שלום במרומיו,
פרבם, פרבם,
הוא יעשה
פרבם, פרבם,
שלום עלינו,
עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו.
יעשה שלום,
שלום,
יעשה שלום,
שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל.
יעשה שלום,
יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל.
יעשה שלום,
שלום,
יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל העולם.
וטהר ליבנו, אוי ליובדך, ליובדך, לעובדך, לעובדך באמת. וטהר ליבנו, אוי ליובדך, לעובדך, ולעובדך, לעובדך באמת. אוי ותאר ליבנו, אוי לעובדך, 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 לעובדך באמת. ותאר ליבנו, לעובדך. It was good, huh? לעובדך, אוי לעובדך, לעובדך, באמת. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת.
אמן.
קדיש שלם 134.
יתגדל ויתקדש שם רבה, וילמד יברך חירותי וימליך מלכותי בחייכון ובמכון ובחיי לכל בית ישראל בעגלה ובזמן קריב וימרו אמן. יש מרבה מבורך לעולם ולעולם ועולם היה יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתעלה לשם קודשה בריחו לילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ולקמתה דם מרים רבה וימרו אמן. תתקבל צאתון ובאותון לכל ישראל כבוד משמיה וימרו אמן. יש רמה רבה משמיה וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל וימרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל ישראל וימרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו,
הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל.
ועל כל ישראל וימרו אמן.
Sanctification of time to the Kiddush cup. Please rise if you're able to. Kiddush, page 142. 142.
ברוך אתה אדוני,
ברוך הוא, ברוך שמו.
אלוהינו מלך העולם, בורא פרי הגפן.
אמן, אמן, אמן.
ברוך אתה אדוני,
ברוך הוא, ברוך שמו.
אלוהינו מלך העולם, אשר קידשנו במצוותיו ורצה בנו בשבת קודשו באהבה וברצון הנחיל לנו זיכרון למעשה בראשית כי הוא יום תחילה למקראי קידשת מכל העמים בשבת קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו ברוך אתה אדון
וברוך שמו. Amen.
L'chaim, 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 l'chaim. You can be seated, please.
Shabbat Shalom. That was quite good, but we should try that one more time, right? Shabbat Shalom. Oh, wow, okay. Now we got it. Thank you, girls. Amazing. Wonderful. So, our rabbis, our sages in Pirkei Avot have taught us, Lo alecha hamelacha ligmor. It's not on you to finish the task. But, however, they add, ואתה לא בן חורין להיבטל ממנה. But you are not free to desist from it, not to do your part. So, in this parsha, we remind the spies, לא עליך המלאכה לגמור, ולא אתה בן חורין להיבטל ממנה. And when we are facing these hard days of anti-Semitism and hate towards the only Jewish state, we say, לא עליך המלאכה לגמור, ולא אתה בן חורין להיבטל ממנה. We have to do our part. And to our board of directors who are stepping up, all these amazing people who are helping create this Keilah Kedosha, this holy community. We are with you, and we each are doing our part, like you are, because you understand, לא עליך המלאכה לגמור, ולא אתה בן חורין להיבטל ממנה. And now we've said the lyrics like 5 4 times, Cantor.
They should know it by
We
now.
should know it and we can sing. Together, everybody. Let's make it count. לא עליך המלאכה לגמור, לא עליך לגמור, לא עליך המלאכה לגמור, לא עליך לגמור, ולא אתה בין חורין להיבטל ממנה, ולא אתה בין חורין שבת שלום ומבורך.
Shabbat Shalom. This was so beautiful and such a powerful message. Now you are not supposed to conclude all the work, but you cannot avoid doing your part. You know, I have in my hand a boarding pass. True? Yes? It says my name, Mario Roisman, and it says the date. Let me see the day. June what? June 4th, today, no? So I have a boarding pass, and I just came from the airport. True. Yeah, but I wasn't on a plane. So that's good, huh? I'm creating drama. I have a boarding pass, I was in the airport, and I wasn't on a plane. So what happened? We'll come back to that in a minute. I had like a roller coaster of emotions. So for our people who are, I really love this stuff. I had the roller coaster of emotion the last 23, 24 hours with some of you. I was yesterday in the memorial of the Holocaust Memorial in a parade against anti-Semitism. You know, I left Argentina for many reasons. We left Argentina for many reasons. I never imagined that there will need to be one day in the United States of America screaming the same words that I screamed when I left that country that allowed my grandparents to come, but also all the Nazis to come. So this was 23 hours ago. But I have let me see. I have a boarding pass. And it's my name. And today, and I was in the airport, but I wasn't on a plane. Here comes the answer. I was invited by American Airlines to say the blessing before the first direct flight from Miami to Tel Aviv took. And I was there with all the mahers, the commissioners and the mayor and the president of American Airlines and I told them the following story because they say, now the rabbi will say a prayer. And I say, I will disappoint you. Rabbis are not so good in prayers, but they are very good teaching Torah. Do you want to hear Torah? What will they? Yes, they say yes. Yeah. I say, this is what we will read tomorrow in the Torah. Moses will tell 12 spies, explorers, to go to Israel and see how the land looks. And you know the answer? 10 of them came back and said, we can't. They are giants. We looked, and this is Torah, like insects in front of them. But 2 of them say, yes, we can. And I say, thank you, American Airlines. Because in the middle of a crisis, when everybody is saying Israel is dangerous, maybe Israel is not so kosher, from Miami, and this is what I expect all the Jews from South America, when they want to make it to Israel, we do it to Miami. From our own city. The same city where together we needed to gather to say no to anti-Semitism. There was a confirmation of Israel is there waiting. So this is our life. Not only mine. I have a boarding pass. And I was in the airport. And I wasn't on a flight, but my grandparents didn't get the chance to have a boarding pass. They took them through a march to another place. That's why I don't have grandparents and cousins, and there was no Israel then. This is our life, so I wanted to share with you my story. I was in the airport. I have a boarding pass. I wasn't on a plane, but I was so proud that from my own city, in 14 hours, and Igal in 2 days would be taking that flight. May God bless you. So what's the conclusion of my journey of 25 hours? That I have a new board of directors. And I will have the privilege to do what rabbis did in Beth Torah for the last 80 years, which is to install them. Who am I to install them? I don't know. What I do know is that the Torah is sacred for every one of you that will today confirm your commitment with our organization. Flagship in the conservative movement, a place that Friday night becomes a little of heaven on earth. And we can do that because of your membership, your virtual membership and your real membership, and all of you that build the place. So it's my privilege to call now upon every member of the board of directors so I can install our new group of leaders. Please join us. Ready? Wow, the crew gets younger and younger. I get older and older, you get younger and younger. So, this will be responsibly, as you know already. We ask your blessing, God, upon those who have been elected to lead and serve our congregation, Beth Torah Beniro campus. As they perform their duties, keep them ever mindful of the high purposes to which they and we are dedicated. Help them to be faithful heirs to those who have preceded us and worthy predecessors of those who will yet follow. May their action reflect strength and wisdom and bear testimony to the great heritage which they represent. As our newly elected officers strive to achieve the goals, may they help to keep us too faithful to our tasks. Grant our leaders strength when they are weary, hope when they are discouraged, patience and perseverance when they face any obstacle. Bless them and those dear to them with health, vigor of mind, serenity, spirit. May the labors reflect honor upon our congregation and our people, and may they bring glory to you, holy name. Amen. Please, your turn. In the presence. May the Lord who blessed our ancestor and who in every generation has inspired men and women to lead our people, now bless our newly installed leaders. May they guide our congregation from strength to strength. May they fulfill our highest hopes. May they bring honor to us and those of the household of Israel. Amen. Together, Baruch Ata Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, שהחיינו וקימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, שהחיינו וקימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, שהחיינו וקימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה. תודה רבה, and thank you for all of you to accepting this amazing challenge. And I will have to invite our president and our executive vice president to join us now with their message.
I'm short, hold on. Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Thank you to Rabbi Cantor, Evelyn, Benny, Ishmael, Ariel, and the gang. A year ago, I taped my message before an empty room for inaugural address to the congregation as president. Not exactly how I thought things might go when I became executive president many years ago. And a year later, I can't say that this has been a piece of cake, although we will be having our first live kiddush later this evening, so please don't go too soon. In the past year, we have gone through major ups and downs as a society, as people, as families, and as friends. We have watched the unimaginable before our eyes and have lost loved ones which we cherish along the way. Indeed, my first night as president, we had to take the steps to safeguard our Torahs from our potential riots that luckily did not come our way. We have continued to rise above the adversities that we, have faced and have many positive successes along the way. We've created amazing high holiday experience, making sure that we reached each member. In fact, we expanded our reach across the globe. Then we reopened our campus to all of our kids in the Early Childhood Academy and Hebrew School, setting the stage for parents to get back to some normalcy. We started a sanctuary rededication project that provided us an amazing spiritual home for our next generation to come. Speaking of our generations and Lador Vador, we celebrated our 80th anniversary in style every step of the way. We've continued to honor so many 50-year generational families that have built the heart and soul of our Beth Torah. We hired Matt Halpern, who is our new and amazing executive director. We have reopened our doors for bar and bat mitzvahs, for catering events, Friday night and Saturday morning services. We are planning an unbelievable 5782 high holiday experience. You'll hear about that more to come in weeks. These things we've accomplished in the age of COVID, yet we continue to grow stronger as we embrace a post-COVID era to come. These things we've accomplished because each of you has volunteered your time, your heart, your love to Beth Torah, and for that I offer my sincerest thanks. Last month, we celebrated our past presidents. It is because of each of them that we can stand here tonight. We have learned from their experiences, their dedication, and they have paved our yellow brick road. Sorry, there's no ruby slippers tonight. But I do thank our lay leadership because you make this place like home, a place that we call home. I have many more thank yous, so bear with me a few minutes. Michael Kotzen, my executive vice president, I am not crying tonight. You are an incredible friend, leader, and shoulder. Thank you so much for standing here next to me and agreeing to be part of this journey. And I have to thank your amazing family too, because without them, you wouldn't be standing here. My fellow outgoing board members, thank you to each of you for standing with Michael and I for your countless hours, your hard work, and dedication. To our incoming board, most of whom have continued to serve for many years, let's continue to make magic happen here. Thank you for saying yes and continuing to support Beth Torah. I can say that our immediate past president, Rich Berger, and the nominating committee did a stellar job setting up our board for success. Special shout out to my Brooke, Tara, Haley, and Brian. Without your support, none of this would happen. You are my rock stars. To Rabbi Roisman and Rabbi Farber, I love you. Where are you? There you are. Every day, you make it seem so easy. You make every conversation meaningful, and you make me a better person and a better leader. I guess what I have to say, what each of you should know, is that I love being here. This is the greatest experience that I've ever had, and may have. But I also know that it is not a piece of cake. It's a slice of life. Beth Torah is better because of each of you, and I look forward to continuing the advances that we have made for the year ahead. Shabbat Shalom. So, Michael, what do you have to tell us tonight?
I have a lot to tell you, but first, there's an important thank you that you didn't mention, because for everybody here who's on the board, who comes to the board meetings, you hear Jill thanking everybody at every single meeting, but it's not so often that people remember to thank Jill. And Jill stepped into being a president a year ago at a very, very difficult, you're crying, right?
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are.
I promised you I was not going to cry tonight.
She stepped into being president of a synagogue, of a large synagogue, which is a difficult job on a good day, at a really, really difficult time a year ago. It was untested. Nobody knew what was going to happen in the next year. She certainly didn't know what she was getting herself into when she stepped into this role a year ago, which she knew she was going to be 4 or 5 years ago. She didn't know what would come in time during the time of a global pandemic. And everybody here who knows Jill knows the kind of work that she's put into it. She's really devoted her heart and soul into being president. And while people might know it, I think there's only about 3 people in this room who really, really know it, which is the rabbi, Brian, Matt, who's standing there in the back, and the 4th, myself, and the 5th, Jill. Because she wakes up early in the morning and thinks about Beth Torah, and she goes to bed very, very late at night thinking about Beth Torah. And in between, she's thinking about Beth Torah. And at the same time, she's raising 3 young daughters, Brooke, Tara, and Haley, raising a husband, Brian, and, and a dog. And she has a full-time job, which she works through into the evening as well. It's not a normal 9 to 5 job that Joe works. So, you know, we have a board who handles the ritual aspects of the synagogue, and the fundraising, and the religious school, and the preschool, and the making sure that the synagogue upkeep is great, and everything else, membership, and I'm sure budgeting, treasurer, everything else that has to go with the synagogue. We had that divided up into about 30 or so different positions on the board. Jill does every single one of those as well. So it's really, she has a 3rd full-time job doing this, and we really appreciate the work you've done. And
Thank you, Michael.
they're clapping me off stage. I got a gift for you on behalf of the board. My son Ross helped me pick it out, so you know it's good, and if it's not, you can blame Ross.
Thank you, Ross.
So this is for you. And that is going to lead me into the announcements for this week. So last week, for those of you who are here, I asked Jill and I asked Rabbi Roisman, who's been to Shanghai? And now I'm going to ask all of you, who's been to Shanghai before? Raise your hands. All right, so we have about 7 or 8 people who have been to Shanghai. You've been, but Rob hasn't? Okay.
She leaves him home
I'd
for
like to
all
hear more
wonderful
about that.
events.
But Shanghai is coming to Beth Torah this month, because we have a Passport to Shabbat, which is kicking off this Sunday at 10 a.m. with an online origami class. And origami is the ancient art of paper making, paper folding. So it's bring your own paper. It's going to be via Zoom. If you want to get more information about it, you can go onto Beth Torah's website and find information about how to register for the event. And in addition to the origami making that we'll be doing this Sunday, we also have great events during the month, so we learn more about Shanghai and how they observe Jewish traditions. And we'll learn about some of the other traditions, like a Shanghai-inspired online cooking demonstration with the Jewish National Fund, an online book club discussion, an online introduction to Mandarin that my son Ryan would probably love, an in-person introduction to Tai Chi, and the option to purchase Shanghai-inspired Shabbat dinners and more. So if you'd like to be involved or participate in this.
If everyone would like to join Michael and I on this amazing trip, we will be there, and we hope you will be too.
Rabbi, do you have your boarding pass?
Tara, you'll be joining too.
But just before I go into the announcements, I don't want to forget to thank my family who's sitting here, my family and my extended family who are all here tonight to celebrate Shabbat, because I couldn't do what I do without your support and appreciation and love. So thank you for that. So moving on with the announcements. First of all, we have a High Holiday survey that's in your Parshat email that you received yesterday. Please fill out the High Holiday survey so that we know what you want for the High Holidays that are coming up this year. Mazel tov to Vita Gottman on the marriage of her son Nathan to his new wife Anne. Mazel tov to Tina and Myron Cohen on the birth of their granddaughter. Mazel tov to Dora and Scott Blumberg on their son Alex's bar mitzvah that just happened yesterday. And a very special mazel tov to our longtime board member Carla Spector on receiving the Lifetime Achievement Award from JPRO Miami. Carla, can you stand up? She's right there. So it's any Lifetime Achievement Award is fantastic. And you've been on the board for how long? Forever. Again, welcome to Beth Torah. And I just want to ask you two more questions. How many of you are here for the first time since 2020? Okay, so about half of you. And I'm going to hold this because I want everybody to hear, so I'm going to hold this the other way. How many of you are happy to be back at Beth Torah?
So Michael, something really incredible is that this amount of people here is amazing. If it was like one night that I could expect This is perfect. So thank you all for being here.
And for a June in Miami, the weather's perfect tonight, too.
Absolutely. Michael was really mad at me because he's like, it's going to rain and it's going to be too hot.
Shabbat Shalom, and thank you to everybody on the board for everything that you do, and we're looking forward to a very, very successful next year. Amen. Thank you.
So one more thing, just to thank all of our board members. Usually we do like a little token gift. This year we have decided to make Michael and I and our families, some of our family members don't know about it, so don't tell my husband, and our families, we've made a special donation on behalf of the board of directors to thank all of you for all of your hard work and dedication. It's going to set our year off strong. So thank you so much, and we love you.
And one last announcement. Jill usually says this. On your way out, for everybody who's here live in person, if you can bring your prayer books over there and your seat cushions over there. There's a cart over there for the seat cushions. It'll make everybody's job easier in cleaning up tonight.
And then there's a kiddush on your way out. Thank you.
I may not get COVID, I may get blind. You know what? It's such a wonderful reflection of a community to have these two leaders and those people in your board of directors. So thank you again. Jill Koch, thank you again. Michael Kotzen, it's a privilege to be your partners. Before we conclude our service, let's honor the family that celebrate more than 50 years, actually this family 60 years as members of Beth Torah. Arthur Moyle was born and raised in Norwich, Connecticut. And following high school, he went into the U.S. Army and was a corporal at the end of his service. Millie was born and raised in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. She visited her brother in Coral Gables, and it was during one of those trips to Florida in the early 1950s that she met Arthur at a party. And they partied together for the rest of their lives. Millie and Arthur lived in Miami Beach, and when their family started growing, first Debbie in 1958, followed by Susan in 1960, they moved to North Miami Beach with 2 infants and Mark on the way. They joined the Jewish Center of Monticello Park, which became Beth Torah 2 years later. Arthur was in the kosher catering business and owned Moyle Kosher Caterers. He was also a mail carrier for the U.S. Postal Service for over 30 years. He became the Beth Torah caterer for all synagogue events, especially USY. Millie was a stay-at-home mom, but was always around to help with Sisterhood Synagogue USY activities. Debbie, Susie, Mark all grew up at Beth Torah, nursery school and religious school. They were raised at Beth Torah, where Mark became a bar mitzvah and was active in USY. All 3 were graduates of North Miami Beach Senior High and went to the Culinary Institute of America in Hyde Park, New York, and returned to Miami to pursue the next phases of their lives and their careers. Debbie went to Miami-Dade Community College, became a dental hygienist, married and moved to New Mexico, where she now lives with her family. She gave Millie and Arthur 3 grandchildren. Susan resides in Southwest Florida. Mark returned to Miami to Beth Torah to stay. He became a cooking professional and learned from his father. He was executive chef for Playboy Club International in Miami for 10 years. He was adjunct instructor for Cordon Bleu in Miami and was a teacher of culinary arts at Johnson and Wales University. He worked part-time for 5 years at Miami-Dade County Public Schools and for the past 19 years at Miami Lakes Educational Center and Technology College. 1990, Mark married Michelle, who he met at a party, and they have shared their lives together for more than 30 years. Millie passed away in 1984 after a prolonged illness, and Arthur in 2011. Leaving those see his son follow in his footsteps as Beth Torah board member, Men's Club president 2013, after which he has served as ritual vice president and now operation vice president of Beth Torah. Mark learned from his father from the time he was a toddler, helping in the kitchen with Kiddushim. He's still available for Sister Men's Club social action and cultural events, especially USY. Mark remembers very dearly his talks and learning with Rabbi Lifshitz and Reverend Adler and the influences they had in his life. Mark continues his membership at Beth Torah, Bellero Campus, as a generational family for the past 60 years. I remember Arthur Moyle leading us in Nila every Yom Kippur. It was a privilege to see his soul davening, and now his son is serving in our board of directors. Mark Moyle is a mensch. Thank you to the Moyle family for everything you did, you do, and you will do for Beth Torah. Adon Olam, Asher Malach,
בטרם כל יציר נברא, לעת נשא בחפצו כל, אזי מלך שמו נקרא. ואחרי ככלות הכל לבדו ימלוך נורא, והוא היה והוא הווה והוא יהיה בתפארה. והוא אחד בן שני לעם שילה ואחבירה בלי ראשית בלי תכלית, ולא העוז בעם ישראל. והוא אלי וחי גואלי, והוא אלי וחי גואלי, בצור חבלי ביצרה, והוא ניסי ומה נושאי, מנת כוסי ביום אקרא. בידו תפקיד רוחי בתשען והעירה, ועם רוחי יביאתי, אדוני לי ולא יירא. אדון עולם אשר מלך בטרם כל יציר נברא, לעת נשא בחפצו כל, אזי מלך שמו נקרא. אחרי ככלות הכל לבדו ימלוך נורא, והוא היה והוא הווה והוא יהיה בתפארה. אדון עולם אשר מלך בטרם כל יציר נברא,
לעת נשא בחפצו כל,
אזי מלך שמו נקרא. ואחרי ככלות הכל לבדו ימלוך נורא, והוא היה והוא הווה בתפארה. והוא היה והוא הווה בתפארה.
For those in need of Mones Kaddish, יתגדל ויתקדש שמר רבה, וילמד יברך חילותי וימלך מלכותי, בחייכון ובימיכון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל, בגלה ובזמן קריב אמרו אמן. יהי שמר רבה מברך לעולם ולמי עלמיה יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה בריחו, לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה דמידן בעלמה ואמרו אמן. שלמה רבה מן שמיה וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום אמרומה ויעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו
אמן.
יבוא שלום עלינו, עוד יבוא שלום עלינו, עוד יבוא שלום עלינו ועל כולם. עוד יבוא שלום עלינו, עוד יבוא שלום עלינו, עוד יבוא שלום עלינו ועל כולם. סלם עלינו ועל כל העולם, סלם שלום. סלם 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 עלינו ועל כל העולם, סלם שלום. עוד יבוא שלום עלינו, עוד יבוא שלום עלינו, עוד יבוא שלום עלינו ועל כולם. שבת שלום ומבורך.
שבת שלום. היי, שבת שלום. היי, שבת שלום.